In this video, we're going to explore some of the text options found in the Floriani Total Control Express software. You will see on the screen that the Floriani software is open to the My Floriani Today page. This is the page that opens every time you launch the software. I'm going to go ahead and click Create a New Design in the bottom left-hand corner of that screen so that it will open up a new design page into the Express software. The text tool is found in the upper left-hand corner, and you will notice it by the red letter T. Next to the letter T, you will notice a little arrow that you can click on. When you click on that little arrow, it'll drop down and show you the different text options that you have. You currently have a regular text option, a circular text option, and a vertical text option. You also have Monogram, which is located right next to the text tool. We're going to explore all three of these options so that you can see what all you can do with lettering inside the Total Control Express program. To start, I'm going to click on the little arrow, down arrow, and select the first one, which is the standard text. Next, I'm going to click inside of the work area, and when I do that, you will notice that the words My Text appear. In the Properties box located in the upper right hand corner, you will notice at the top it says My Text as well. If I want to change what the text says, I do so in this text box. And I'm just going to type in the word Floriani in upper and lower cases, and then I'm going to hit the Apply button in the bottom right hand corner of that Properties box. And when I hit apply, you will notice that the text is updated on the screen. With the text, you will also see that you have the option to change the different font styles. And you do see a preview of what the font looks like in this little window. But I'm going to click the down arrow underneath the font box just to show you what fonts you have available. So I can use my arrow key. Once I have one selected, I could hit my arrow key and I can scroll through each one, and you'll notice that there are 25 different fonts available with the Total Control Express software. And when you find one that you like, you simply select it and then hit apply, and it will change it to that font style. So there's a lot of different options that you do have for your fonts, and this one's kind of fun, this Child's Play. But I do want to show you some of the other options that you have as well. For instance, your height, right now it's set at 0.79 inches. If I wanted to make the height 1 inch, I would just select it in this box and then hit apply, and it will make my lettering 1 inch tall. I can also control spacing between the letters. Like right now it is at 0. If I change that to 5 and hit apply, you'll notice that it lengthens the distance. I'm going to go back down to 0 and hit apply. And I can change the width as well and the line spacing. If I had multiple lines of text, I could control how much space was in between. Also, you have a couple features right here in the align, where I can hit left align, right align, and all that does is, and center align, is that it'll do it, it'll left align like if I have multiples. So let's go to Floriani and type in software underneath of it. You'll just notice that all I did was hit enter after the word Floriani. I'm going to hit apply, and because I have it centered, you will notice that the word software is centered underneath Floriani. Now let me go to left, and you'll see that it will left align everything. If I go to right, it'll right align the two lines. So you do have some options there with your text as far as the spacing goes. There is also another tab in the properties box called Text Extra. So I'm going to click on Text Extra, and you will see that in your sew sequence, you can sew from left to right, right to left, or center out. So just to show you what that is like, if I have left selected and hit apply, I'm going to do a little slow redraw. You can see that it starts on the left hand side and it works its way to the right. Now I'm going to go to Text Extra and go right Now you'll see it starts from the right and works its way to the left. And then one more option is center, and this is like what you would utilize for doing lettering on caps or baseball hats. If you have a machine that can do that, you always want to work from the center out. So we'll see here it starts from the center and works its way to the left, and then goes back to the center and works its way to the right. Same thing for the word software. So that is some of the options. You also have trimming options. Like right now it says that it will trim always, so between each letter it's going to trim, but I can change that to never or to auto. If I choose never, it will actually jump from letter to letter. Let me go back to always. And locking is another important thing. Right now it's going to create lock stitches for each letter, and that is by default, that's a pretty safe thing to have on, because if you trim between the little jump stitches that go between letters, you'll want to make sure that they're locked first. And those are your different text options for software. I do want to point out one other thing. In your fonts, you will also notice that a couple of the fonts have a red letter O next to them. So I'm going to select one of those that have the red letter O and hit apply. And I want to show you what special features you have with that. So whenever there's a font with that red O, that stands for outline font, you get a new option under style. Right now it says default, but if I choose the drop down arrow, I can select that I want the style to be in run and hit apply, and you'll notice that it's actually going to create those letters as a run stitch. There's also a default with a run, and what that means is it will actually do a satin stitch. I'm going to change the color of this font so you can see it better. It'll do a satin stitch with a run stitch around it. So whenever you're working with a font that has a letter O next to it, you do get some special functionality available, and it does vary depending on the font. So some fonts will have different options. It's just important to know that you do get some options with those. So the text, working with standard text is pretty simple. I want to go ahead and show you circular text as well. So I created a new page, and I'm going to go to the text tool, hit that little arrow, and select the circle text, and then I'm going to click on the screen, and you will see that it brings up my text, but it has a circle around it. And in the properties box, you will notice that it changes as well. So it says upper and lower. In the upper part it says my text, and the lower it says nothing. So let's go ahead and change this to Floriani. I'm going to do all capital letters this time for the upper, and software for the lower section, and hit apply. And you will notice that my box isn't very big, so it does kind of overlap a little bit, and I can change that if I want. I could change it the size of the letters and hit apply, which will actually make it even bigger, but I did 11 inches. I apologize. Let me go back. I meant to put 1 inch and hit apply. So you can see that I can do that. I can also move this around. You do have some options here. I can make it bigger and smaller. So you can see that I actually am making the height of the text smaller. By doing that, you can see that I can see all the letters now. And so I can make it even a little bit smaller. And you do have other controls like this blue. You'll notice that that allows me to kind of move things around and make the circle larger and rotate it. But it keeps the letter height the same. Other options that you do have is you do have the little blue diamonds. If I click and drag on one, it will create more distance or less distance between letters depending on which direction I pull it. And you do have the option to select the orange diamond, which I can take an individual letter and modify it some. I can even rotate it, but you can see I can pull it out. Just little different things that you can do with your lettering. And the nice thing is that you do have an upper and a lower section, and it automatically formats it correctly for you. And you can use your different fonts with that, so you're not limited to the fonts that you can use that works with all of them in the that come with the software. And other things, you still have your text extra options. Those are still available. So the circular text is a handy tool for creating text around a circle. And next I want to show you, I'm going to open up a new page and I'll show you the vertical text. And the vertical text is kind of self-explanatory, but if I type in the word Floriani again and hit apply, you will see that it will actually put all the letters vertically. So that's the only thing that really makes the vertical text different. So I'm going to come back, I'm going to create a new page. I'm going to go to the Monogram Tool, show you that really quick. So I hit the monogram button and then I clicked on the screen. And when I have the letters in here, you have two different monogram fonts you can choose from. You have Monogram 1 and you have a Sherwood monogram. I'm going to select the Sherwood really quick. You can see that the letter height is set at 0.79. I'm going to change it to like 1 inch, so it makes it a little bit bigger. You can adjust the spacing between letters and the width of it, and you can also slant it if you would like. You also have the ability to, with this specific monogram font, you have these things called decor. And what decor is elements that go around the letters. So if I hit this drop down arrow, you'll notice that I can choose any of these decor items. And let me go ahead and select the first one and hit apply. You'll notice that it actually puts that decor underneath of it. Let's go to this next one, and you can see that I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit bigger. You get a different decor, and just to show you, so whatever letters you have, it'll put decorative element around it, which is really nice and handy. It helps you to dress up your monograms a little bit. So that is working with the Monogram tool. Like I said, you have a few options here. Right now it's ABC. My initials are DAJ. If I use those and hit apply, you can see that it changes those letters in the design. So it's really simple to use. I am going to go back to the first one we created that said Floriani Software, because I do want to show you some more of the editing features of when working with text. So as kind of stated earlier, if you just go in and select text, if it was deselected, you come back and select it, you'll notice that I don't have any of the control points between letters that allow me to adjust things. And the reason for that is that those will not show up unless you have the text tool highlighted. So I'm going to come back up to my text tool and notice what happens. You'll see the blue diamonds and the orange diamonds. I'm going to hit the text tool, and now you'll see that all those control points come back up. So this is like kind of how you access the editing features of text. So the things that I love about Floriani Software is that with these blue diamonds, I can put my mouse over it, click, and I can drag those diamonds, and I can bring either some fonts closer together, and you'll notice that everything is kind of coming towards each other right now or away from each other. And the reason for that is I'm in a center alignment, but not that big of a deal. I'm just going to kind of bring these in, and let's say I wanted to bring in this letter F a little bit, the T into the letter F a little bit. You can do that. And some other neat things is you have these other control points. You see these little black circles here. If I click and drag that black circle, notice that it stretches the font up at an angle, and that's a really nice feature. And if I hold down control, notice that right now the bottom stays level. But if I hold down Control on my keyboard, notice that the bottom and the top both move now. So I'm going to keep holding down Control. Now I'm going to let go of the mouse so you can see that it will actually slant those letters. And you have other options, like in the upper right hand corner, the blue diamond, blue circle, sorry, you can come in and rotate those. And you also have this black arrow. If I click and drag it, it will stretch the text. And then you also have this arrow pointing up on the upper left hand corner. If I click and drag it, it'll make the text larger proportionally. So it'll make it larger in height and width at the same time. Keep it proportional. You also have this black diamond in the lower left hand corner, and if I select it and drag, notice how it will actually slant the text. So you do have a lot of capabilities working with text inside the software, and I just wanted to take a few minutes to show you how to work with the text. And so hopefully that will help you get started creating letters for any of the projects that you need to do. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time.